Hey guys, this is Miss Barrett, and I'm here because all of your teachers told me that their students really wanted some work to do over break, and they wanted some math lessons to learn. So here I am giving you guys a nice little lesson to get you guys ready for the week we get back. Obviously, I'm kidding a little, but we are going to give you guys a couple quick videos just to take a look at and try a couple problems before you guys come back after the new year. So the first thing we're going to talk about is mean, median, and mode. And mean, median, and mode are something that we call measures of a center of quantitative data. It's just measures of central tendency. What does that mean? That means if I have a list of numbers, it's different ways to measure what the middle might be or the average. These are all things that I think you guys have seen before. So a quantitative data set is just information that can be gathered or tallied. It's just a list of numbers most of the time. Sometimes it's like a poll that you take. The center of the data is really just like a typical value in the set. So we do this in three different ways. We measure the mean, the median, and the mode. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the mean. The mean of the set of a data set, is the average of the numbers. So the average of the numbers or the data values. You guys hopefully have taken averages before, but the mean is calculated by adding up all of the values and then dividing by the number of values. So if I'm adding up 10 different numbers, I'm going to add all the numbers up and then I'm going to divide by 10 because there's 10 numbers. So for example, this says the number of hours Sally worked as a lifeguard at a pool for 6 days is as follows. She worked 3 hours, 7 hours, 4, 7, 5, and 4. So if we want to calculate the mean, okay, we're going to take all of the numbers. We usually have to first write the numbers in numerical order. This is going to help you with finding the center of the data, okay? So we're just going to add all these numbers up. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 4 is 11, plus 5 is 16, plus 7, plus 7. You end up getting 30 over 6. Now, why did I choose the number 6? I chose the number 6 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 total numbers. And when I do that, I get an average or a mean of 5. So you guys are going to go ahead and do your practice problems finding the mean. Again, you just add up all the numbers and divide by however many there are. Let's move on and talk about median. So here we are on the page talking about median, and the median is the middle value when you have the list of the numbers in numerical order. And that's a big important part. They need to be in numerical order in order for you to find the median. Now, sometimes we have an even number of values, and when we do, we have to actually take the average of the middle two numbers or take the mean of the middle two numbers, and that'll give you the true median. So let's do an example when we have an odd amount and then an even amount of numbers. So first, this says find the median of the number of car accidents on I-294 for 5 months. So in 1 month we had 35, then 18, 42, 21, and 30. So again, this is 5 total numbers. Now that's an odd amount of numbers, which means I'm going to have one median. So the first thing you need to do is list in numerical order. Now what I like to do, and I'm going to write these out for us, 18, 21, 30, 35, and 42. Now what I like to do is actually like cross out. So I usually cross out the first and the last, and then I keep going until I reach that middle number. So that 30 is actually the median. Moving on to when we have an even amount of numbers, okay, this is now accidents on I-290 for 8 months. So if you count it up, you'll see that we have 8 numbers this time. Okay, so let's go ahead. We have 19, 27, 33, 38, 45, 54, 61, and 63. Now when I go through and cross out these ones, the first and the last, and you just keep moving in, there's 2, cross out, we got 3, but I have 2 middle numbers. Guys, all I need to do in this case, it kind of gets us off whack a little bit, but that's okay, is just take the average, add these together, and divide by 2. And that is going to give you the median. when you have an even amount of numbers. Okay, this only happens if you have an even amount of numbers. So if, like up here we had only 5 numbers, so we didn't have to do that. Let's move on and quickly talk about mode. So here we are talking about mode. Mode, I always think of most. Mean is the average. Median, middle. Mode, most. So it's looking for the value or values that occur the most often. So a data set might only have one mode. It might have 2 or even 3 modes, and there also might not be any mode at all if nothing repeats at all. So for the first part, it says find the mode for Mary's test scores. So let's see. I always start by listing them in numerical order, and then we can see if anything repeats. Clearly, the 83 repeats, and it's the only one that repeats. It's there twice, nothing else is repeated, so there's only one mode, and that is going to be 83. Now in this case, again, we list all of the numbers. This is our data, list them in numerical order, and I can see here that nothing is repeated. So since everything is only repeated once, there actually is no mode. And finally, we have a list of numbers one more time, and it says list them in numerical order. It actually is already in numerical order. Guys, take a look. I see 4 repeats, so there's 2 4s and there's also 2 7s. That's okay. Since both 4 and 7 appear 2 times, they're both going to be the mode. Now, if I had a different number like 3 that repeated 4 times, that would be the mode because that one would have been the most. But since this one, 4 and 7 are tied for the most often, they're both going to be the mode. So hopefully this is just a quick little recap. Hopefully it makes sense and you guys can try out finding the mean, median, and mode on your worksheet. Good luck.